What's up, everybody, and welcome to Glasses in Session. On today's episode, we're doing all things coconut milk. It's an extremely popular and versatile ingredient in mocktails and cocktails alike, giving a refreshing creaminess to recipes. We'll be doing 3 unique drinks today, starting out with a cherry hot chocolate. For this, you'll need coconut milk, tart cherry juice, baker's chocolate, agave syrup, coconut cream, powdered sugar, and vanilla extract. We're going to start out by adding 2 cups of coconut milk and 2 ounces of chopped chocolate into a small saucepan at low heat. Stir frequently to prevent burning until all the chocolate is melted. Next, add 1 ounce of agave syrup and 1.5 ounces of cherry juice. Stir enough to incorporate and then take the pot off the burner. We're going to let that sit and cool off a bit, and meanwhile make our coconut cream whipped topping. Into a large mixing bowl, add 1 can of coconut cream. To control the consistency, I'm scooping out the fat from the top first without adding the liquid that's settled at the bottom. Next, add 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix thoroughly, making sure to get all the lumps out. If your consistency is too thick, add some of the liquid that is settled at the bottom of the can until you've reached your desired texture. Alright, now it's time to actually build this thing. Grab a large coffee mug and fill with the hot chocolate, leaving some space for your whipped topping. Do a little taste test to make sure our flavors are on point. Slowly and carefully pour your whip on top of the hot cocoa. And you can see here what happens when you don't leave adequate space for your whip. Clean up after the consequences of your actions and reapply some of the whipped topping. Garnish with a little nutmeg, and that is our cherry hot chocolate. Admittedly, this is really just a very fancy hot chocolate, but with the addition of the tartness from the cherry juice as well as the earthy sweetness from the agave syrup, it is definitely more of a sophisticated version of what will surely be a huge hit of nostalgia for some of you. Next up, we're making something called a Tokyo Thai. We'll start out with a little infusion of the coconut milk and then make a delicious mocktail out of it. To make this, you'll need coconut milk, diced candied ginger and lemongrass, a fresh lime, agave syrup, and some matcha. Get all of your ingredients together and start out by adding 1 cup of coconut milk to a small saucepan at medium-low heat. To that, add half a cup of water and your diced up candied ginger and lemongrass. Heat to a low boil, turn down the heat, and then simmer for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. Remove from heat and let cool to room temperature. As this is cooling, it would be a great time to make some matcha to let that cool down as well. Now that our ingredients have cooled, strain out your coconut milk into a container for storage. Next, grab a shaker tin and add half an ounce of agave syrup, 3/4 of an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice, and 2 ounces of infused coconut milk. Add ice and shake for 8 to 10 seconds, then strain into a highball with fresh ice. Grab your room temperature matcha and whisk for aeration, achieving as much froth as possible. Slowly pour your matcha on top, taking care to not mix the 2 liquids too much, and introduce a straw. And that is our Tokyo Thai mocktail. The ginger and lemongrass surprisingly play a pretty big part in the flavors here, complementing the nice grassiness of the matcha and agave and the fresh acidity of the lime. All in all, it's a super fresh and tasty beverage, creating a beautiful fusion of Japanese and Thai flavors. Finally, we'll be trying our hand at making a non-alcoholic version of Bailey's. This simple substitute for the liqueur only has a few ingredients and is most known for being mixed with coffee, so we're going to do that as well. For the recipe, we'll need vanilla syrup, cocoa powder, and coconut milk. Grab a mixing glass and add 1 cup of coconut milk, 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla syrup. Whisk thoroughly to incorporate all of the ingredients. Alternatively, you could use a hand mixer. It would be much easier to incorporate all of the cocoa powder. And that's essentially it as far as the flavors in Bailey's go. Aside from the Irish whiskey that's usually added, it's a bit difficult to replicate that without adding any alcohol, but this is as close as we're gonna get. This is great by itself on ice, but we're gonna add it to some coffee. So grab a chilled low ball with some fresh ice and add about 3 ounces of cold brew. To that, slowly pour over your Bailey's, roughly 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces. You could stir to incorporate or drink as is while enjoying the lava lamp look of this mocktail. And that's it for a non-alcoholic variation of Bailey's. As I said, it's a great addition to any cold brew or coffee. The acidity in coffee does make this curdle and separate slightly. You could try to counteract that by adding some emulsifiers like xanthan gum or sunflower lecithin. As long as you don't let this sit for too long, it shouldn't affect the texture or flavor in any way. It'll just affect the way that it looks. And those are 3 simple coconut milk mocktail ideas. So what's your favorite go-to coconut milk recipe when making drinks at home? Let me know in the comments down below, and whether or not you tried one of these recipes for yourself. Thanks for watching. See you next time.